Good morning everyone and welcome to G2E Asia 2024. It's great to see you all here and it's great to be back with a full-size G2E Asia again. And of course, as we always do, traditionally kick off with a keynote from the President of the AGA. So would you please join with me in welcoming Mr. Bill Miller, President and CEO of the American Gaming Association.
All right, good morning, everyone. Well, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. It is great to be here in Macau for G2E Asia. We're celebrating a milestone this year. It's the 15th anniversary of the AGA's Global Gaming Expo in Asia. It signals how important Macau and Asia are to the global gaming industry. Asia is one of the industry's biggest markets. It hosts some of gaming's most iconic properties, with more and more in development, and it's going to be a major source of gaming's future. That's why G2E Asia has put down roots here. We're making G2E the premier convening in the global industry, whether it be in Macau or in Las Vegas. And we're meeting at a time of global strength for our industry. Despite economic uncertainty, high interest rates around the globe, and dynamic geopolitical environments, gaming's performance remains steady. It is a testament to this industry's ability to deliver world-class experiences that cannot be matched anywhere else. And we're seeing signs that the industry's growth in the US is returning to more normal rates, and we're confident in gaming's future. Here in Asia, the post-COVID recovery, it might have started more slowly, but it is building tremendous momentum. Here in Macau, gross gaming revenues are running about 75%, even more. I saw the announcement this morning. And building momentum to get us to a very, very good place. In Singapore, we're seeing a resurgence in visitors and business volume. And meanwhile, the Philippines has emerged as one of the fastest growing gaming markets in the Asia-Pacific region. While existing markets are leaning into the recovery, the industry is also developing new markets and laying the foundation for the next wave of growth. In Japan, construction is underway for MGM's $10 billion integrated resort casino in Osaka. This mega project, the first in Japan, will draw an estimated 20 million visitors when it goes live in 2030. Other promising markets include the United Arab Emirates, where Wynn's Casino on Al Marjan Island is on track for opening in 2027. In Thailand, lawmakers are studying the feasibility of legalizing casino gaming, and major casino operators are eyeing Thailand as a great market opportunity with significant tourism infrastructure. While gaming in Asia is recapturing and surpassing revenue rates from before the pandemic, gaming's continued growth relies on our commitment to innovation and responsibility. And that's why the AGA's top priority is to fight hard to shut down illegal gambling and promote responsible gambling. The AGA continues to take a lead in combating illegal gambling, primarily in the United States. But just as we're fighting to shut down the illegal market, we're also working to make sure that the legal market is better by promoting responsible play at our properties and on our digital platforms. Demonstrating leadership on responsible gaming opens paths to a stronger growth. And these priorities now bring me to Macau today. No matter where you sit in our industry, we can agree gaming is about experience and experience. Right here in Macau, the rebound is being driven by returning visitors and investments in non-gaming assets and amenities by casino operators, which are broadening the customer base. Top operators here, working with government leaders, plan to make historic, deeper investments in multifaceted, non-gaming experiences moving forward. And that's what we're seeing globally. People want these experiences, and gaming is a big part of those experiences. That's exactly what G2E, both in Asia and in the US, are all about. So let's use this opportunity to underscore the global strength of the gaming industry, to showcase our commitment to responsibility, to renew our focus on innovation and create incredible guest experiences. And together, we will build an even brighter future for the global gaming industry. Thank you very much, and enjoy the show.
Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you for opening the show. And I've got a few questions for you. We're going to be about 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to start off by asking a very long question. Please be patient with me. Today, it's quite a milestone because it's the 15th edition of G2E Asia. There are some people in this room who have been here long enough to remember the 2007 edition in Macau Tower, and this building wasn't built yet, and then a few months later we were ready here, and it's been here ever since at the Venetian. And we've seen some truly remarkable developments in our industry in those 15 years, and please bear with me. I'm going to run through a few of them, just remind everybody of what we've been through as an industry in those 15 years. You know, the global financial crisis in 2007, 2008, the launch of the Singapore duopoly in 2010, the astronomical growth of Macau in the early 2010s, peaking in 2013 with GGR of 45 billion US dollars, a quite astonishing number for such a small place. Entertainment City in Manila from 2013, the race for IRs in Japan. Every company in the world pretty much was involved in that, which ran from 2018 to about 2021. The Australian industry crisis that began in 2019 and is still ongoing today. There was a little thing called the COVID-19 pandemic from 2020 to 2022, which was more than a bump in the road. The demise of Macau's junket industry in 2022, and finally the relicensing of the 6 Macau concessionaires from the 1st of January last year. You say that in one paragraph, it sounds like you can go through it pretty quick, but it was quite a ride. Yet through it all, one constant has always been G2E Asia, and G2E in the US in October every year as well. And during your opening remarks, Bill, you touched on G2E's sort of convening authority and how it's the premier global gaming convener. So could you tell us a little bit more from the perspective of the AGA, the American Gaming Association, on how you see the role of G2E and G2E Asia, how it's been in the past, how you see it today, and indeed what it can be and should be in the future?
Well, as you said, you walked through a pretty condensed history of some of the most, really found, most difficult and exciting parts of this industry in the last, really 15 years. And so here we are on the 15th anniversary of the first G2E. And I think what's important is that G2E continues to be the place where the gaming industry comes together, innovates, and gets business done. And whether it's here or in Las Vegas, and I will say it is very good and very important that we are back here and to have this show in Macau. It was a very difficult time for all of us globally in the industry, really in any industry. But to have the show back here where it began is an incredibly important moment, and so I'm very grateful to the folks who help us both from the governmental perspective as well as all of the business leaders who recognize the important value of this Asia market, and particularly this place in Asia.
You mentioned the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure we're all thoroughly sick of talking about it, but we're living in the aftermath of it. It hit the US pretty hard in 2020. We saw pictures out of Las Vegas that we never thought we'd ever see. But the recovery began pretty quickly. By March 21, you guys were pretty much underway in recovery. It continues to this day with consistently great numbers, not just in Las Vegas, but throughout the entire US for more than 3 years. Here in Asia, of course, we were hit much harder and much longer, especially in Macau, which got 3 full years almost of it. Can Asian markets like Macau, the Philippines and Singapore emulate what's happened in the US? Because it's been quite an astonishing story what's happened with the US. I mean, I don't know how many months of more than 1 billion GGR in Nevada. You know, you've kept that winning streak going for a long time. Can we do that here through the rest of 24, 25 and beyond?
Well, it is certainly, it was a very difficult time, as you mentioned. In the US, there are just over 1,000 casinos, and some of them are commercial casinos, some of them are Native American tribal casinos. Of course, all of them were shut down in the same way that they were here and really everywhere else in the world. They did open up a little bit earlier. I think that number one, to answer the last part of your question, I absolutely believe there can be there already is tremendous momentum in Asia, and I believe that will be sustained. People lost. There was a tragedy attached to COVID from the loss of life, but there was also a loss of life experience, loss of those things that you took for granted. And I think that people have a slightly different outlook on life in terms of maybe things aren't as important, experiences are more important. And that's what we've seen, and that is one of the things that I see has happened in the US, is that people really value the experiences that we bring, whether it's the casino floor or the entertainment elements or restaurants or shows, that all of those types of things really help contribute to what I believe to be a slightly different viewpoint from most humans who experience this level of shutdown, and then this open up and this pent up demand for this. I think there have been people that kind of cover our industry, both in the US and globally, who have said, all right, yeah, so 2022 will be a great year. 2023 will be a great year, but as it tails off, it's going to not be good. And each quarter where the naysayers have continued to say, both globally and certainly in the US, you're never going to beat last quarter. And yet, somehow or another, the numbers continue to be good. Now, there's no question in the US that we are not riding these big double-digit increases anymore. I think that there is more of a normalization, and that's fine. But I also think that people have a slightly different attitude around experiences, and that benefits our industry, whether it be in the US, Asia, or anywhere else.
You've certainly kept that run going for a very long time, and I hope that that's an indication of what's going to happen here. Look, a few years ago, everybody was talking about Japan. It was Japan, 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 and let's be honest, they kind of fell over to a certain extent. But MGM has ended up with a great opportunity in Osaka, where it looks like, all things being equal, we're going to be a monopoly operator. And anyway, now the focus is all about Thailand. Everyone's talking about Thailand, and everyone's talking about the UAE. With you mentioned the property up to Rag, potentially more. What are your thoughts on both of those markets, Thailand and the UAE?
Well, I have not been, I've been to Thailand before, but last year, on the heels of this show that we temporarily relocated into Singapore, where I saw you last, I was able to go to the UAE and go out to Ras Al Khaimah and see the property that Wynn was building. And it was quite extraordinary. And in a couple of days, on my way back to Washington, D.C. in the US, I will stop in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well, but we'll go out to Ras Al Khaimah and see the progress. But they believe that they will be able to deliver that property in 2027. It will be the first major IR in the Middle East. And if you draw a circle around it, for 800 miles, for 1,000 miles, for 2,000 miles,